Lesson 176.
Caro, barato.
Okay, Antonio, both of these adjectives here are what we might call normal adjectives. They're going to have 4 different forms, correct?
That's correct, Bill.
Okay. Before we move on here, why don't you help us understand the pronunciation of caro, okay?
The word caro, which is expensive, is very similar to the word carro, which is car. So the only difference is that caro, expensive, has 1 R, and carro, car, has 2 R's. So there is a difference in the way you pronounce those 2 words. Caro, expensive, is pronounced caro, just roll the R, don't roll the R as much, and carro, you roll the R's much stronger.
Okay, let me see if I can do this the right way. If I want to say expensive, I'll say caro. And if I want to say car, I'll say carro.
That's it, Bill.
So that was pretty good then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, maybe I should write a book about Spanish one day.
Well, let me know. I'll help you.
Oh, okay, good idea. Okay, let's look at our exercises together. In number 1, we have a me gusta type of statement. The subject here is the word ropa, that means clothes. Barata means cheap. So la ropa barata will say the cheap clothes. The verb here is gusta. Le means to him, to her, or to it. The word no is here to negate the me gusta statement. And a mi hermano means to my brother. So literally, number 1 might say something like this. The cheap clothes are not pleasing to him, to my brother. But it will really say, my brother does not like cheap clothes. In number 2, mi ropa means my clothes. And then we have the verb es, which means is. Remember, in Spanish, the word ropa is singular. So we could translate mi ropa es as my clothes are, or we could translate ropa as clothing, and we could say my clothing is. It doesn't matter which way you do it. You can do it in a singular way or a plural way, as long as everything agrees with one another. Muy means very, and cara means expensive. In this sentence, the word cara is a predicate adjective, and it's describing or modifying the word ropa. So it needs to be in agreement with ropa. It has to have the same gender and number. In number 6, ese restaurante means that restaurant. Tiene means has. Comida barata means cheap food. Pero means but. La comida es means the food is. And vieja means old. So number 3 will say, that restaurant has cheap food, but the food is old. In the second part of the sentence, notice how vieja is a predicate adjective, but it still needs to agree with comida. In number 4, mi padre tiene means my father has. Then we have un carro caro. This is interesting because the words carro and caro sound very similar. Of course, carro, which means car, has 2 R's in it, whereas caro, which means expensive, only has 1 R. So when you say carro, which means car, you have to roll the R longer. So carro and caro. That's the difference between the 2 words. Anyway, caro caro means expensive car. So number 4 will say, my father has an expensive car. In number 5, ellas siempre cargan says, they always carry. Esos libros grandes says, those big books. And a la escuela says, to school. So number 5 says, they always carry those big books to school. In number 6, yo no puedo says, I am not able. Comer is an infinitive that means to eat. Esta comida means this food. Porque means because. And then we have the verb está. We'll translate that as it is. Of course, the it is referring back to the comida, the food. And muy fría means very cold. So number 6 will say, I am not able to eat this food because it is very cold. Or, I cannot eat this food because it is very cold. In number 7, yo quiero una ensalada means I want a salad. Of course, the word ensalada has an adjective with it, and that's the adjective pequeña, which means small or little. Con means with, and mi cena means my dinner. So number 7 will say, I want a small salad with my dinner. In number 8, we have a question. The subject of the sentence is la sopa, that means the soup. Está is the verb, that means is, and caliente means hot. So if this were just a normal statement, if it were not a question, it would say something like, the soup is hot. Of course, the words are in a different order here because it's a question. So we'll really translate it like this. Is the soup hot? In number 9, mi madre es vieja means my mother is old. E means and then we have the verb tiene. That's third person singular, and it goes with the word madre. So we'll translate the word tiene as she has. And then we have un carro, that means a car. And then we have muy viejo, which means very old. So number 9 will say, my mother is very old, and she has a very old car. In number 10, we have a question. The subject here is carro, that means car. And the word carro has a couple of modifiers with it. We have este, which means this, and nuevo means new. So este carro nuevo, and then the verb es, all that would say, this new car is. Of course, it's a question, so the S comes first, and we'll really translate it as, is this new car? And then caro means expensive. So number 10 will say, is this new car expensive?